Every morning begins with a negotiation. It's not with your partner, it's not with your boss, it's with your own two knees. You ask, "What are we doing today?" And they answer with a level of stiffness, a degree of ache, that dictates the terms of your life for the next 16 hours. Those terms redraw the map of your world instantly. The upstairs bedroom becomes a mountain peak. The garden you love, a minefield of potential pain. Your world isn't expanding, it's shrinking. And your own body is the one drawing the borders. If this is your reality, then this video is for you. You tell yourself, "It's just my age." You've heard it from friends, maybe even your doctor. You're over 60, what do you expect? It's just wear and tear. You've started to believe that this daily battle, this feeling that your own body is a cage, is your new normal. But what if I told you with every fiber of my being that this is not normal? What if I told you that you do not have to accept this as your fate? What if that stiffness, that ache, that throb that dictates what you can and cannot do today is not just a passive process of aging, but an active fire burning inside your joints? And what if I told you that the breakfast you've been eating for the last 20 years might be the very thing feeding that fire? This fire has a name. It's called chronic low-grade inflammation. Now, inflammation itself isn't a villain. When you sprain your ankle, the swelling and redness is acute inflammation. It's your body's army rushing to the scene to heal you. It's a good thing. But the inflammation we're talking about in our joints is different. It's not a roaring bonfire. It's a slow, smoldering bed of embers, constantly glowing, constantly damaging, never fully going out. It's the kind of fire that doesn't scream. It just grinds. It silently, relentlessly breaks down the precious cartilage in your knees, day after day, year after year. Imagine your knee joint is a beautiful, finely tuned hinge on a door. Cartilage is the smooth, glossy paint that allows the hinge to swing open and closed effortlessly, silently. Synovial fluid is the lubricating oil that keeps it all slick. Chronic inflammation is like having a tiny, invisible blowtorch aimed at that hinge, 24/7. It scorches the paint, making it brittle and flaky. It dries up the oil. Over time, the hinge becomes creaky, stiff, and painful to move. That is what's happening inside your knee. For some of us, our morning habits, the foods we eat, the things we drink, the way we move or don't move, are like puffing little bursts of oxygen onto those smoldering embers, making them glow hotter. But for others, their morning routine is a targeted, strategic application of a soothing, cooling balm, systematically calming that fire, day by day. My name is Jack, and this is my passion. Welcome to our channel, where we don't believe in quick fixes or miracle cures. We believe in understanding. We dive into the real, peer-reviewed scientific research to find practical, evidence-based strategies that empower you to take back control of your health. I am not a doctor, and this is not medical advice. I am a researcher, a translator, someone who is dedicated to bridging the gap between the complex language of science and the real-world needs of our lives. Today we are going on a journey together. It's a journey into the heart of knee pain. And I promise you this, by the time this video is over, you will not just have a vague idea of what to do. You will have a complete step-by-step blueprint. You will know the 5 hidden morning habits that are almost certainly making your knees worse. And I mean, we will go deep on the science of why. And more importantly, you will have the 5 powerful science-backed rituals to replace them with. Rituals that can help you feel more fluid, more flexible, and more free than you felt in years. And make sure you stay with me until the very end, because woven into that solution is a promise I'm making to you right now. I will reveal one single, powerful, almost magical seed. A seed that you can add to your breakfast tomorrow morning that acts like a targeted, anti-inflammatory superfood for your joints. The science behind it is fascinating, and the simplicity of using it is wonderful. I'll show you exactly what it is and how to use it before we're done. But before we dive in, I wanted to create a community right here, right now. This is a shared experience. In the comments below, please tell me, describe the feeling in your knees in the morning using a weather forecast. Are they stiff with a chance of grinding, achy with afternoon throbbing, or maybe creaky and cold? I will read every single comment because your story, your forecast, is the reason we are here today. Let's get started on changing that forecast for good. All right, let's pull back the curtain before we can build a new, strong, pain-free house. We have to identify the termites that are silently eating away at the foundation. These are the hidden saboteurs we call the fire starters, the 5 morning mistakes that worsen knee pain. They are the habits so ingrained in our daily lives, so normalized, that we don't even question them. But I assure you, your knees feel them every single day. We're going to break them down one by one, and you might be truly shocked by number 3 and number 5. Mistake number 1. The dawn of the sugar rush, the healthy cereal, sweetened yogurt, toast and jam, and just a splash of sweetened creamer. Let's be honest, mornings are rushed. We reach for what's fast, what's easy, and the food industry has spent billions of dollars convincing us that a bowl of fortified cereal or a cup of fruity yogurt is a responsible, healthy start to the day. The box might say heart healthy, made with whole grains, or a good source of vitamin D. And while those things might be technically true, they hide a much more sinister truth. It's the sugar, and it's not just the obvious sugar in pastries and donuts. It's the refined carbohydrates that act exactly like sugar the moment they hit your bloodstream. That seemingly innocent bowl of cornflakes, that piece of white toast, that sweetened almond milk in your coffee. It's a tidal wave of glucose hitting your system all at once. And let's be honest, how many of those healthy breakfast foods have you tried only to feel stiff and achy an hour later? So, what actually happens inside your body? Let's get into the science. When you ingest a large amount of sugar or refined carbs, your body has to produce a surge of insulin to shuttle that glucose out of your blood and into your cells. This process, especially when it happens repeatedly, triggers the release of pro-inflammatory messengers called cytokines. Think of cytokines as the alarm bells of your immune system. Specifically, we're talking about cytokines like tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNFA, and interleukin-6, IL-6. These are the exact same compounds that flood an area when you have an infection or injury. But here, there's no injury. There's no bacteria to fight. The immune system is being tricked by sugar into going on high alert. It starts attacking your own tissues, and the sensitive, delicate lining of your joints, the synovium, is a prime target. The Arthritis Foundation has explicitly stated for years that sugars and high glycemic index foods are a direct trigger for this inflammatory response. It's not a new discovery, but it's amazing how easily it gets forgotten, isn't it? That bowl of cereal is literally telling your body to attack your knees. Let's make this real. I want you to think about my friend's father, David. Let's go deeper into his story. David is 68. He's a retired history teacher, a brilliant man who loves reading and walking. For years, his morning ritual was unshakable. A cup of coffee with 2 sugars and a splash of flavored creamer, and 2 pieces of white toast with strawberry jam. Seemed harmless, but his reality was this. He couldn't walk his dog, a beautiful golden retriever named Buddy, for more than 10 minutes. The stiffness in his knees was so bad that gardening, his other passion, had become a painful chore. He'd have to take breaks every 5 minutes, his knees throbbing with a dull, persistent ache. He saw his doctor, who gave him the usual advice. Lose some weight, take some ibuprofen. It didn't help. He was resigned to it. Then we had a long conversation about this exact topic. He was skeptical. My little bit of toast and jam? Come on. But he was also desperate. So he made a deal with himself. For 30 days, he would swap it out. Instead of the toast and sweet coffee, he started having one of the breakfast options we'll discuss later in this video. The first week, he noticed a small change. The morning stiffness seemed to break up a little faster. By the end of the second week, he realized he wasn't automatically reaching for the ibuprofen after his morning walk. By the end of the month, he called me, and I could hear the joy in his voice. He had just come back from a 45-minute walk with Buddy. He said, "It's not perfect. It's not like I'm 20 again, but the throb is gone. The constant grinding ache has been replaced by just a quietness, all from changing his breakfast. It started by silencing that morning sugar alarm. Mistake number 2, the deceptive fat trap. Margarine, vegetable oils, and processed foods. Fat has been demonized for decades, and then it was redeemed. We were told fat is bad, then some fats are good. It's confusing, but here's the simple, crucial truth for your joints. The type of fat you eat is more important than the amount. Many of us grew up in the era of margarine. We were told it was the heart-healthy alternative to butter. We dutifully switched. We started cooking our eggs, greasing our pans, and spreading our toast with it. At the same time, the food industry began using cheap, highly processed oils in everything. Take a look at the ingredients list on most packaged foods: salad dressings, crackers, baked goods. You will almost always see soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, or cottonseed oil. These are collectively known as omega-6 fatty acids. And most people over 60 know they exist. They've been on food labels for decades, but do we really know what they're doing to us? Now, let me be clear. Your body needs omega-6s. They're essential for certain functions. But here's the critical point. They exist in a delicate balance with another type of fat, omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-6s, when consumed in excess, are pro-inflammatory. They are the precursors to compounds in your body that create inflammation. Omega-3s, on the other hand, are anti-inflammatory. They are the precursors to compounds that resolve inflammation. They are the calm down signal. Think of it like a seesaw. On one side, you have omega-6s, inflammation. On the other, you have omega-3s, anti-inflammation. For most of human history, our diet provided a ratio of about 1:1 or 2:1. Our seesaw was perfectly balanced. Today, the modern Western diet, full of processed foods and vegetable oils, provides a ratio of anywhere from 15:1 to 25:1. Think about your own kitchen right now. What kind of oils are in your pantry? What's in the ingredient list of your favorite crackers or salad dressing? Our seesaw is slammed to the ground on the side of inflammation. It is a constant screaming signal for your body to be inflamed. A landmark paper published in the scientific journal Nutrients reviewed the evidence and concluded that this skewed ratio is a major driver of nearly all modern inflammatory diseases, from heart disease to, you guessed it, arthritis. When you cook your healthy scrambled eggs in that vegetable oil blend or spread margarine on your whole wheat toast, you are directly loading one side of that seesaw. You are sending a loud pro-inflammatory chemical message that your knees are forced to interpret as pain and stiffness. Let me tell you about a woman from our community named Susan. Susan is a retired nurse, and for decades, she believed she was doing everything right. She was the one who diligently swapped butter for margarine in the 80s. She cooked with corn and sunflower oils because the labels said heart healthy. She bought low-fat salad dressings, not realizing they were filled with these inflammatory omega-6 oils. But her joints told a different story. The nagging, throbbing pain in her knees became her constant companion. She was frustrated, even felt a little betrayed. She told me, "I've followed the rules my whole life. Why do I feel worse than people who don't even try?" The light bulb moment for Susan was understanding the omega-6 to omega-3 seesaw. She realized her healthy diet was completely out of balance. The very things she thought were helping were in fact feeding her inflammation. Her change was simple but profound. She switched to options we'll discuss later in this video. Within a month, she said the angry nature of the pain had changed. The constant hot throb had cooled to a much duller, more manageable ache. She hadn't found a cure, but she had finally stopped pouring fuel on the fire, all by identifying the hidden fat trap. It's the hidden fat. The fat in the pre-made breakfast burrito, the fat in the store-bought granola, the fat in the non-dairy creamer. It's everywhere. And it's creating an internal environment that makes joint pain not just possible, but probable. Mistake number 3, the morning dehydration cycle, the coffee first mistake. This next one is so profoundly simple, yet it might be the most impactful and overlooked mistake of all. You wake up. What is the very first liquid that passes your lips? For millions of us, it's coffee. We stumble to the kitchen, we press the on button, and we wait for that black gold to fill our mug, believing we need it to function. Let's analyze this. You have just spent 7, 8, maybe 9 hours without a single drop of water. You lose water overnight simply by breathing. Your body is in a natural state of dehydration the moment you wake up. Now, let's talk about your knees. What is the cushion in your knee joint? The smooth, slippery, shock-absorbing material that prevents your bones from grinding against each other? It's articular cartilage. What is that cartilage made of? It is nearly 80% water. Let me say that again. The cushion in your knees is 80% water. Now, picture a beautiful, plump, juicy grape. It's smooth. It's resilient. That's your cartilage when it's fully hydrated. Now, what happens if you leave that grape out in the sun for a few days? It shrivels. It becomes a raisin. It's wrinkly. It's tough. It has no give. That is what happens to your cartilage on a microscopic level when it is dehydrated. When you wake up, your cartilage is already partially raisined. It's less plump, less slick, and provides significantly less cushioning. Does that raisin feeling sound familiar to anyone? That dry, grinding sensation? That feeling of stiffness and grinding is the physical manifestation of dehydrated cartilage. Now, what do? We pour coffee into our system. Coffee is a diuretic. In simple terms, it tells your kidneys to flush more water out of your body. So, you are taking a dehydrated system and dehydrating it even further. You are pouring gasoline on a fire of dryness. You are asking your raisin cartilage to perform the job of a grape cartilage. And then you wonder why it hurts. Let's visit my neighbor, Carol, who is 72. Her story is so powerful. Carol is a widow, lives alone, and her mornings were her enemy. She told me it felt like her knees were full of sand. Getting down the stairs from her bedroom was a 10-minute ordeal of holding the handrail, wincing with every step. Her unchangeable ritual for 50 years. Wake up, make a pot of strong black coffee, and drink 2 cups while reading the paper. Only then would she consider having a glass of water. After we talked, she made one tiny change. She bought a large 32-ounce water bottle. She filled it and put it on her nightstand before she went to bed. Her new rule: she had to drink half of it before her feet even touched the floor. It was hard at first. She felt like she was forcing it down, but she stuck with it. About 2 weeks later, I saw her outside weeding her flower bed. She stood up, straight, and waved at me. Later, she came over and told me, "It's the strangest thing. The sand is gone. My knees still feel like they're 72, but they don't feel like they're full of sand anymore." She called it waking up her knees before she wakes up her mind. She was, quite literally, replumping her cartilage before asking it to bear her weight. It's that simple and that profound. Mistake number 4. The paradox of stillness, the "let me just sit for a minute" trap. This one is a paradox. It feels so logical, so intuitive, that it's hard to believe it's wrong. You wake up, your knees are stiff and sore. What is your body's immediate, instinctual reaction? Don't move it. Protect it. Rest it. You sit down at the kitchen table. You sink into your favorite armchair with your coffee. What's your go-to stiff morning spot? Is it the kitchen chair? The recliner? You think you're letting it warm up on its own time. This is, without a doubt, one of the biggest mistakes you can make for morning joint stiffness. You are falling into the paradox of stillness. Let's go back to our knee joint as a hinge analogy. We've talked about the cartilage, the paint. Now let's talk about the synovial fluid. This is the oil for the hinge. It's a thick, viscous fluid that lubricates the joint, nourishes the cartilage, which has no blood supply of its own, and carries away waste products. Here's the key. Your body doesn't just keep a big reservoir of this fluid sloshing around. It produces it on demand. And what is the signal to produce it? Movement. Gentle rhythmic movement is the on switch for your synovial fluid pumps. When you are still, especially after a long night of immobility, that fluid is thick and stagnant. It's like cold motor oil. When you choose to sit still because of stiffness, you are ensuring the stiffness persists. You are waiting for the oil can to appear, but you are the oil can. Your movement is what gets the oil flowing to the rusty hinge. I love the image of the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. He stands there, completely rusted solid. He can't bend his knees, he can't move his arms. He doesn't need a new body part. He just needs Dorothy to apply the oil can. That gentle, targeted lubrication is exactly what your joints are screaming for in the morning. By sitting still, you are essentially choosing to be the Tin Man, waiting for a magic that will never come. The irony is, the very thing you are avoiding, movement, is the source of the magic you seek. We're not talking about going for a 5-mile run. We're talking about gentle, purposeful lubrication, which we will cover in detail in the second half of this video. But know this, every minute you sit still in the morning, feeling stiff, you are actively choosing to prolong that stiffness. I want you to meet George, a 75-year-old grandfather I had the pleasure of speaking with. George's biggest fear was falling. His mornings were dictated by this fear. He would wake up, feel that intense locked-up stiffness in his knees, and his immediate instinct was to sit rigidly in his armchair for at least an hour. He'd sip his coffee, read the paper, and wait for the rust to clear, believing that movement was the enemy. What he was really doing was prolonging his own prison sentence. The longer he sat, the more agonizing that first trip to the kitchen was. The pain reinforced his fear, and the fear led to more stillness. It was a vicious cycle that was shrinking his world. The Tin Man analogy really hit home for him. He realized he was waiting for Dorothy, but he had the oil can himself. He started with the tiniest movement, one of the gentle lubrication flows we'll cover shortly, performed while still sitting on his bed. At first he was terrified, but to his astonishment, the gentle rhythmic motion didn't cause pain. It eased it. He discovered that 5 minutes of purposeful, gentle movement gave him more relief than 60 minutes of fearful stillness ever had. He told me, "I got an hour of my life back, every single morning." He didn't need magic. He just needed to become his own oil can. Mistake number 5, the processed protein pitfall, the daily bacon or sausage habit. Protein is vital, especially as we age, to maintain muscle mass which supports our joints. So, reaching for a classic breakfast of eggs and sausage, or a bacon, egg, and cheese seems like a smart, protein-rich choice. But the type of protein matters immensely, and processed breakfast meats are a category all their own. Let's talk about bacon, sausage, ham, and other processed meats. What makes them so problematic for your joints? It comes down to 2 main things: the additives and the compounds created during high-heat cooking. These meats are typically preserved with nitrates and nitrites, which, while effective at preserving them, have been linked in studies to increased oxidative stress and inflammation in the body. But the bigger, more sinister problem is a class of compounds with a very fitting acronym: AGs. That stands for Advanced Glycation End Products. AGEs are harmful compounds that are formed when protein or fat are cooked at high temperatures, like when bacon gets crispy or a sausage gets that nice brown char. They are also formed inside our body when we have excess sugar, which attaches to proteins in a process called glycation. So, what do these AGs do? They are like little bits of cellular glue. They travel through your body and stick to your tissues, making them stiff and dysfunctional. And they have a particular affinity for long-lived proteins like collagen, the primary building block of your cartilage, tendons, and ligaments. When AGs accumulate in your joint tissues, they make them brittle, less elastic, and much more prone to damage and inflammation. They essentially accelerate the aging process at a molecular level. A 2017 study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition directly linked higher consumption of red and processed meats with elevated levels of inflammatory markers in the blood, like that C-reactive protein, CRP, your doctor might test for. So, while you think you're just enjoying a savory, satisfying breakfast, you are quite literally ingesting compounds that are making your joint cartilage stiffer and more inflamed. It's a difficult truth to swallow, especially if it's a cherished part of your morning routine. But when you are in a state of chronic pain, you have to be willing to examine every single input. And the daily dose of inflammatory additives and cartilage-stiffening AGs from processed meats is an input that your knees simply cannot afford. Think about Frank, a 70-year-old retired mechanic. For 50 years, Frank's breakfast was his ritual: 2 eggs and 3 sausage links. It was his comfort, his routine. He associated it with strength and starting the day right, but his body was breaking down. He couldn't kneel to work on his vintage car anymore. Playing on the floor with his grandkids was out of the question. He blamed it all on a lifetime of hard work under cars. When he learned about AGs, advanced glycation end products, the concept clicked for him in a way nothing else had. The idea that the browning on his sausage was creating a cellular glue that was literally stiffening his cartilage made perfect mechanical sense to him. He visualized those crispy bits gumming up his joint hinges. He took our 14-day challenge, which I'll lay out for you soon. He grudgingly swapped his beloved sausage for a different protein source we'll discuss. He was skeptical, even a bit grumpy about it. But on day 10, he bent down to pick up a dropped screwdriver in his garage and stood back up without thinking about it. There was no wince. There was no sharp intake of breath. The hot poker feeling in his knee just wasn't there. For Frank, the choice became crystal clear. The temporary comfort of his morning sausage wasn't worth the lifelong comfort of a body that could move with him. Okay, let's all just take a collective breath. Inhale, and exhale. We have just waded through some deep and perhaps uncomfortable territory. I've just outlined 5 habits: the sugar rush, the bad fats, dehydration, stillness, and processed meats that are deeply woven into the fabric of our culture and our daily lives. As I was talking, I'm sure for many of you, a little light bulb went off. Maybe more than one. You might be sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I do 3 of those every single day, or maybe even all 5. My intention here is not to make you feel guilty. It is not to shame you or to make you feel bad about your choices. The past is the past. We can't change what we ate for breakfast yesterday, but we can change what we eat for breakfast tomorrow. The sole purpose of this first half was to create awareness, to transform the unconscious habits into conscious choices, because you cannot change what you do not acknowledge. You might feel a little overwhelmed right now. Where do I even start? That's a normal feeling, but I want you to replace that feeling of overwhelm with a feeling of hope, because you are now in possession of incredible power, the power of knowledge. You now understand the why. You know what the enemy is. It's that smoldering fire of chronic inflammation, and you know the agents that have been feeding it. The entire second half of this video is dedicated to the solution. We're not just going to leave you with the problems. We are going to build, step by step, a new morning routine, a routine of fire soothers. 5 simple, powerful, and frankly delicious and enjoyable rituals to replace the old ones. And yes, that includes the details on that one magic seed. But before we cross that bridge from the problem to the solution, I have a small but incredibly important favor to ask. If you felt that light bulb go off, if this information has already started to connect the dots for you in a new way, then please take just 1 second right now and click that red subscribe button below this video. And right next to it, there's a little bell icon. If you click that too, you'll be notified whenever I release a new video. Here's why it matters so much. My mission is to create a library of this kind of in-depth, research-backed health information, completely free for everyone. When you subscribe, you are not just doing something for yourself. You are casting a vote. You are telling the YouTube algorithm that this conversation, a conversation about genuine, science-based health empowerment for people over 60, is important, that it's valuable. Your single click helps this video reach more people like you, people who are sitting in their chairs right now, feeling stuck and hopeless, just like you might have felt 30 minutes ago. It's the most powerful way to support this mission. So please, pause the video for just a moment if you need to, and click subscribe. I'll wait. Thank you, truly. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Your support means the world. Now, let's put out that fire. Let's get to the good stuff. All right, welcome to the part of the journey you've been waiting for. We've identified the termites, and now it's time to bring in the master builders. Welcome to the Fire Soothers, your 5 morning rituals to soothe your knees. In this section, we are going to systematically replace each fire starter habit with a powerful fire soother ritual. These aren't just random tips. They are the strategic antidotes to the problems we've just discussed. Let's begin building your new morning. Ritual number 1, the inner shower, your pre-breakfast hydration elixir. We established that the very first thing your body needs is not a stimulant, but a lubricant. It needs water. So, ritual number 1 is the inner shower. Before a single drop of coffee or tea passes your lips, you will drink 16 to 20 ounces of room temperature or warm water. That's about the size of a standard water bottle. Let's elevate this. We're going to turn that simple glass of water into a true therapeutic elixir. Squeeze the juice of half a lemon into it. Why? We talked about the hydration, but the lemon does 2 extra things. First, while lemons are acidic in their natural state, they have an alkalizing effect on the body once metabolized. Our modern diet tends to make our bodies overly acidic, a state which promotes inflammation. A little lemon water helps gently nudge your body back towards a more balanced, alkaline state. Second, and just as important, lemons are packed with vitamin C. Vitamin C is not just for colds. It is a critical cofactor in the synthesis of collagen. Collagen is the protein rope that weaves together to form the structure of your cartilage, tendons, and ligaments. Without enough vitamin C, your body literally cannot repair and rebuild these tissues effectively. So, that squeeze of lemon is providing a key building block for joint repair. Think of it as sending the construction crew to the job site. How to implement this. The easiest way to create a new habit is to remove all friction. Don't wait until you're groggy in the morning to decide to do it. Just like we heard from Carol's story, fill your glass or water bottle the night before. Put it right on your nightstand. Make it the very first thing you see and the very first thing you reach for. Before your feet hit the floor, drink it. All of it. Think of it as taking an inner shower, washing away the stagnation of the night, and preparing your body's systems for the day ahead. This one non-negotiable step will fundamentally change how your joints feel within that first hour of being awake. Ritual number 2, the 5-minute lubrication flow, waking up your joints. We've defeated the paradox of stillness. We know that movement is the signal to produce that lubricating synovial fluid. So, right after your inner shower, while you're still sitting on the edge of your bed, it's time for the 5-minute lubrication flow. This is not exercise. I want you to remove the word exercise from your mind. This is lubrication. It is gentle, it is slow, it is mindful. Here is your flow. It has 3 simple parts. Part 1, the pendulum swing, 2 minutes. Sit comfortably on the edge of your bed with your feet dangling but not quite touching the floor. Now, simply begin to swing your lower legs forward and back, gently, like a grandfather clock's pendulum. There should be no force, no muscle engagement. You are using momentum. The goal is not to kick high. The goal is rhythmic, easy motion. This gentle swinging is the perfect signal to the knee joint. It says, "Good morning, time to start producing that lubricating fluid." Do this for about 2 minutes, just feeling the joint start to loosen up. But part 2, the fluid circles, 2 minutes. Now, let your feet rest on the floor. Focus on one leg at a time. Lift your foot just an inch off the floor and begin to make slow, deliberate circles with your ankle. 10 circles clockwise, then 10 circles counterclockwise. Really feel the movement through your ankle. Then, switch to the other foot. Why the ankles? The body is a kinetic chain. Stiffness in your ankles forces your knees to take on extra stress and rotational force. By lubricating your ankles first, you are preparing the entire support structure below your knees. Part 3. The gentle squat bend, 1 minute. Now, stand up, holding on to your nightstand or a wall for balance and support. Your feet should be shoulder-width apart. Very slowly, bend your knees, as if you are about to sit down in a chair that's slightly too far behind you. Only go down a few inches. Go only to the point where you feel a gentle awareness in your knees, with 0 pain. This is crucial. If it hurts, you've gone too far. Then, slowly straighten back up. Repeat this 5 to 10 times. This gentle weight-bearing movement is the final step. It circulates that newly produced synovial fluid throughout the entire joint capsule, ensuring the entire surface of your cartilage gets coated in that beautiful, slick lubricant. That's it. 5 minutes. You've taken your joints from cold, stagnant, and dry to warm, lubricated, and ready for the day. You've been the oil can for your own Tin Man. Ritual number 3, the golden elixir, a mug of turmeric and ginger tea. Now that you're hydrated and lubricated, it's time to bring in the anti-inflammatory heavy artillery. Instead of, or perhaps before, your regular cup of coffee, you're going to brew a mug of what I call the golden elixir, turmeric and ginger tea. Let's talk about turmeric. This bright yellow spice contains an active compound called curcumin. Curcumin is one of the most studied and most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds on the planet. It works by blocking multiple inflammatory pathways in the body. Remember those pro-inflammatory alarm bells we talked about? TNF-A and IL-6? Curcumin has been shown to be effective at helping to silence them. A major 21 meta-analysis, which is a study of multiple other studies, published in the BMJ Open Sport and Exercise Medicine Journal, looked at all the evidence. Their conclusion was remarkable. They found that curcumin provides significant pain relief and functional improvement for patients with knee osteoarthritis, with a safety profile far superior to common NSAID pain relievers like ibuprofen. Next, we add its perfect partner, ginger. Ginger has been used for thousands of years as a remedy for nausea and digestive issues, but it's also a potent anti-inflammatory in its own right. It contains compounds called gingerols, which inhibit the production of inflammatory chemicals in a way that's similar to how some arthritis medications work. Ginger and turmeric work in synergy, creating a more powerful effect together than either one alone. But there's one more crucial ingredient, a pinch of black pepper. Why? Black pepper contains a compound called piperine. On its own, piperine doesn't do much for your joints, but its magic is what it does for curcumin. The human body is not very good at absorbing curcumin on its own. Piperine, however, blocks certain metabolic pathways in your liver, allowing the curcumin to stay in your bloodstream for much longer and at higher concentrations. How much of a difference does it make? A groundbreaking study published in the journal Planta Medica found that piperine can increase the bioavailability of curcumin by a staggering 2,000%. Not adding black pepper is like leaving 95% of the power of turmeric on the table. How to make it? This is wonderfully simple. The quick way. Buy organic turmeric ginger tea bags. They are available in most supermarkets. Just steep one in hot water for 5 minutes. Make sure to add a small grind of fresh black pepper into your mug. The fresh, potent way. Get fresh ginger root and turmeric root, or use ground spices. Pour 12 ounces of hot, not boiling, water into a mug. Add about a half teaspoon of grated fresh ginger, a half teaspoon of ground turmeric, or grated fresh turmeric, a generous pinch of freshly ground black pepper, and if you like, a squeeze of lemon and a tiny drizzle of raw honey. Let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes. Stir well and sip it slowly. Feel that warmth spreading through you, and know that you are sending a powerful calm down signal to your entire body. Ritual number 4, the anti-inflammatory breakfast build, from scramble to smoothie. It's finally time for breakfast, and we are going to make it count. We are replacing the sugary cereals, the inflammatory fats, and the processed meats with a nutrient-dense, inflammation-fighting meal. Here are 2 fantastic options. Option A, the supercharged green scramble. We're starting with a base of 2 or 3 pasture-raised eggs. Why pasture-raised? They tend to have a much better omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acid profile than conventional eggs. Now, here's the upgrade. While your pan is warming up with a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil, our healthy omega-9 fats, you're going to throw in a massive handful of leafy greens. My favorite is spinach, but kale, chard, or arugula also work beautifully. Why the greens? They are antioxidant powerhouses. Spinach, for example, is loaded with an antioxidant flavonoid called kaempferol. A 2019 study published in the prestigious journal Arthritis and Rheumatology found that kaempferol works by interfering with the activation of inflammatory cells, effectively blocking the inflammation process at a very early stage. So, by wilting that spinach into your eggs, you're not just adding vitamins, you're adding an active joint-protecting compound. You've taken a simple protein breakfast and transformed it into a functional, medicinal meal. Option B, the joint-soothing smoothie. If you're more of a grab-and-go person, a smoothie is your best friend, but we have to build it correctly. The base. Start with an unsweetened liquid like almond milk, coconut milk, or even just water. The protein. Add a scoop of clean, unsweetened protein powder or a large dollop of plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. This will keep you full and support your muscles. The greens. Just like the scramble, a huge handful of spinach is perfect here. You won't even taste it, but your joints will thank you. The anti-inflammatory fruit. Add a half cup of a low-sugar, high antioxidant fruit. Berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, are the #1 choice. They are packed with antioxidants called anthocyanins, which have been shown to have significant anti-inflammatory effects. Pineapple is another great choice, and as it contains an enzyme called bromelain, which is a well-known natural anti-inflammatory. The healthy fat. A quarter of an avocado or a tablespoon of almond butter adds creaminess and healthy fats that keep you satiated. Either of these breakfasts provides sustained energy, high-quality protein, and a symphony of anti-inflammatory compounds, setting a completely different tone for your body for the rest of the day. Ritual number 5, the Magic Seed Power-Up, introducing chia seeds. And now, we have arrived at the final ritual, the one seed that I promised you at the very beginning, the ultimate power-up to add to your new anti-inflammatory breakfast. It's a seed that was so prized by ancient Aztec and Mayan warriors for strength and endurance that it was used as currency. It's a seed that modern science is now confirming is a near-perfect food for combating inflammation and promoting joint health. I am talking about the tiny but incredibly mighty chia seed. Don't let their small size fool you. These seeds are arguably one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, and they attack our problem of knee pain from 3 distinct and powerful angles. Angle 1, the omega-3 supersource. Remember our seesaw? The one dangerously tilted towards the side of inflammation by all the omega-6 fats in our diet? Chia seeds are the ultimate counterweight. They are one of the richest plant-based sources of an omega-3 fatty acid called alpha-linolenic acid, ALA. Gram for gram, chia seeds contain more omega-3s than salmon. This massive infusion of omega-3s goes to work directly balancing your fatty acid ratio, telling your body to produce more anti-inflammatory compounds and fewer pro-inflammatory ones. A major review on omega-3s and rheumatic diseases, published in the Journal of Clinical Rheumatology, confirmed that consistent omega-3 intake is strongly linked to reduced joint swelling, less morning stiffness, and decreased overall pain in arthritis patients. Angle 2, the hydration sponge. This is where it gets really interesting. Chia seeds are hydrophilic, meaning they love water. They can absorb up to 10 to 12 times their weight in liquid, forming a beautiful, thick gel. Remember our discussion about cartilage being 80% water and the raisin effect of dehydration? When you consume chia seeds that have been mixed with liquid, you are consuming these little gelatinous sponges. This gel helps to slow down the digestion and absorption of water, creating a slow-release hydration system within your body. It helps keep your tissues, including your precious cartilage, more hydrated for longer. It's a secret weapon against the morning sand in the joints feeling. Angle 3, the nutrient and fiber powerhouse. Beyond the fats and hydration, chia seeds are loaded with soluble fiber. This fiber acts as a prebiotic, feeding the good bacteria in your gut. A healthy gut microbiome is one of the pillars of a healthy immune system, and a calm immune system means less inflammation body-wide. Furthermore, they are packed with minerals that are critical for the health of the structures around the joint. They are rich in calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, all essential for strong, healthy bones. Stronger bones provide a better foundation and support system for a compromised knee joint. How to use them? This is the best part. It's almost ridiculously easy. The sprinkle. The simplest way is to just sprinkle 1 to 2 tablespoons of chia seeds onto your food. Sprinkle them over your green scramble. Stir them into your Greek yogurt. Top your smoothie with them. The mix-in. Blend them directly into your smoothie. They will act as a thickener and give it a richer consistency. The pudding. My personal favorite method is to make a simple overnight chia seed pudding. In a jar or a bowl, combine a 1/4 cup of chia seeds with 1 cup of unsweetened almond or coconut milk. Add a dash of cinnamon or vanilla. Stir it well. Wait 5 minutes, stir it one more time to prevent clumping, and then put it in the fridge overnight. In the morning, you'll have a delicious, thick, tapioca-like pudding. Top it with some berries and nuts, and you have what I believe is one of the world's most perfect anti-inflammatory breakfasts. We've been on quite a journey together today, haven't we? We've traveled deep inside the knee joint. We've uncovered the hidden enemies in our kitchens and the powerful allies we can replace them with. We now have a blueprint, a clear, step-by-step plan. And now we arrive at the moment of truth. Because information without action is just entertainment. It's just a passive experience. I know that some people will have watched this video, nodded along, maybe even thought, that's interesting. And then, tomorrow morning, the inertia of habit will take over. They will reach for the same box of cereal, the same sweetened creamer. They will sit in the same chair, feeling the same stiffness, and wonder why nothing ever changes. But you are not some people. You are different. You have invested your precious time and attention today. You didn't do that to be entertained. You did that because you are in pain, and you are sick and tired of being in pain. You did that because you hold a deep, fundamental belief that a better feeling is possible. You are ready for a change. So, I am not just giving you information. I am giving you a challenge. The 14-day knee soothing challenge. For the next 14 days, I challenge you to implement this new morning routine. 1. Start with the inner shower. 2. Do the 5-minute lubrication flow. 3. Swap your usual drink for the golden elixir. 4. Choose the green scramble or the joint-soothing smoothie for breakfast. 5. And most importantly, Add your 1 to 2 tablespoons of chia seeds every single day. 14 days. That's it. Take it one morning at a time, and I want you to be a scientist of your own body. Before you start, write down on a piece of paper how your knees feel. Rate the morning stiffness on a scale of 1 to 10. Then, on day 15, do the same thing. See what has changed. You are going to try this. You are going to stay consistent. And then, you are going to come back to this exact video, and you are going to scroll down to the comments, and you are going to share your story. You are going to tell us what happened, because your story of success will be the spark of hope that inspires the next person who stumbles upon this video, feeling as hopeless as you might feel right now. If this masterclass has given you clarity, if it has given you a real, tangible plan, and most importantly, if it has given you hope, then I ask you one last time to join our community, to become part of this movement. Please, take this final moment and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is free. It takes 1 second, but it sends a powerful message. It says that we are no longer willing to passively accept pain as a normal part of aging. It says that we demand better information. It says that we are ready to become the active architects of our own health. Your subscription is what allows me to continue dedicating my time to this deep dive research and to creating these free resources for you and for everyone who needs them. Thank you. Thank you for your time, for your trust, and for your willingness to believe in your own power to heal. Here's to smoother, stronger, and much, much happier mornings.